Hi, today's video is on corresponding sides and angles. So have out your math notebook and take a few notes with me. So corresponding sides and angles. Okay, so this is some geometry. It's just a way that we talk about two different shapes and compare them. So let's look at a couple of triangles. So let's say we have triangle A, B, C, and let's say we have triangle D, E, F. Now, these are similar triangles, which you learned about last year, but if you don't remember it, it's not a big deal. We'll talk a little bit later about what it actually means to be similar. But for right now, just note these triangles are related to each other. And we want to talk about the sides that are corresponding to each other, meaning that they're in the same relative position on our shape. So for example, if I want to talk about the corresponding sides over here, this side AB, and I can call it AB or I can call it BA. It doesn't really matter, but I put my letters that are the end points of my line segment, and then I put that line over it, and that's how whoever I'm talking to or communicating with through this is understanding that that's a line segment. And then I'm going to do a little arrow, meaning that they are corresponding to this right here, because it's in the same place on the shape. Now, since I said AB, I have to say DE. If I would have said BA, then I would have had to say ED. So you just do the same thing on both shapes. My other sides would be AC, and that corresponds to DF. And then line segment BC corresponds to line segment EF. And just remember to put those lines over it because that's how we talk about line segments. Okay, one more thing that I wanted to tell you about the corresponding sides or angles too, really. Let's say that this was upside down or turned around or pretty much anything else. Let's say that it looked like this. So this was still A, this was still B, and this was still C. All of that information would still be accurate. So AC would still correspond to DF. So sometimes they're not going to have the same orientation or be turned in the same direction, but we're still looking at the ones that are on the same area. And sometimes if you have something like this where it's turned upside down, it might be helpful to redraw it so that it looks the same, so that it's in the same orientation as your other one. Okay, let's talk about the angles and how we write those. So when we have angles, if I have angle A and that little symbol that looks like an upside down 7 right here, that means angle. So angle A right there corresponds to angle D. Angle B corresponds to angle E, and then angle C corresponds to angle F. Okay, so that's about it for corresponding sides and angles. Just write down any questions that you have in your notebook and we can talk about them in class.